What's up, everybody? Going solo today, so show was a little later. Sometimes Monday's going to be a little later because if I want to cover stories that are on Monday, breaking on Monday, got to shoot it on Monday. Otherwise, if I shoot it on Friday, I miss everything. So, Justin Lin, as I suggested, and a lot of people suggested this, but looks like Vin Diesel was to blame, at least if you believe the reports that are coming out, that his ego was just too much for Justin Lin to pass up. We'll get into that. Speaking of Fast X, it looks like Louis Leterrier from The Incredible Hulk, he's going to be stepping in to direct. Can he handle the Hulk-sized ego of Vin Diesel? Like what I did there? I don't. Top Gun, I saw it. Can't really review it, but I can give you my reaction. So with Ellis, we got together. We have our first reaction. Going to see Doctor Strange tonight. Stallone's on set in a gangster show in Tulsa, I believe. That's what it is. Is it going to be a 90s show? The box office is hitting. The Hunger Games prequel. Who's directing Fantastic Four? Gary Oldman's retiring. Sam Raimi talks Spiderman. Oh, so much. So much happening, and we're going to talk about all of it today, but I want to make sure that you guys are subscribed to the podcast feed. For everybody who listens to The Big Thing, everybody who watches The Big Thing, and everybody who's given all this great feedback of it, it is very important for a couple different things. One, please make sure that you subscribe to the podcast feed. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, doesn't matter if you watch it on YouTube or not. Super helpful. The other thing, try some of these sponsors. The ones that we really are endorse are the ones that we love. I'm going to tell you about Athletic Greens later on, and I just talked about a boost this morning, but we'll get into that later. Anyway, a lot to talk about. It is The Big Thing. It's a show. Let's do it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to The Big Thing. I'm Kristian Harloff. Yes. Don't worry. Guests will be back. I got Roxy coming in this week. Brett's coming in. Steph and Mike will be here for Sith Council, which is now a Wednesday Big Thing show. And then obviously, Coy is coming in for one of them. He's going to do Doctor Strange. Winston's not going to be able to do the Doctor Strange for next week. And what's the other one? Oh, and then Jurassic World rewatch this Friday. So, a lot going on. Man, there's a lot going on, and a lot of it has to do with this freaking fast news. Start with it right away. Justin Lin and Vin Diesel, they put out this video. I don't know if you guys saw this. Like the day before Justin Lin talked about taking off and said, I'm leaving, creative differences. They put this video, Vin Diesel put this video out. And Justin looks like he's been held hostage. He does not want to be there. To get me out of here. And this is exactly what he did. He took off the next day. And listen to what's going on here. There's a lot of reports coming out about this. I don't know where it broke first. Justin Lin has quit as director of Fast 10 because the star Vin Diesel is so difficult, according to a source within knowledge of the situation. This is from New York Daily News, by the way. How true this is, who knows? All speculation, but it seems like it adds up. Though filming had already begun, Lin, who directed 5 of the Fast and Furious films, abruptly quit last week without explaining why and without a replacement. I've never seen anything like it. Lin's giving up $10 or $20 million. One veteran producer who is not involved in the film said. Diesel shows up late to the set. He doesn't know his lines, and he shows up out of shape, is what my source tells me. Not my source, this is what the article says. A spokesman for Lin had no comment, and a rep for Diesel did not get back to the Daily News with a comment. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson quit 5 years ago after making 4 Fast and the Furious movies with Diesel, to which he said, "Some conduct themselves as stand-up men and true professionals, while others don't," he said at the time. "The ones that don't are too chicken to do anything about it anyway," Candy asks. Instead, Johnson started with Jason Statham in the spin-off Hobbs and Shaw. "No one is dissing Vin Diesel on the record, but everyone knows," says the source. Diesel's silent co-stars include Jason Momoa, who plays the villain, Michelle Rodriguez, Tyrese Gibson, Ludacris, Jordana Brewster, Charlize Theron, and Brie Larson. Variety reports the search for a new director could be costing Universal $600,000 to $1 million per day, as it pays to keep crew and cast members in limbo. Now, I'm jumping real quick to another story there. Where the hell is it? It looks like, is that it? No, it's not it. I don't know. Yeah, there it is. So it looks like, speaking of Fast 10, it looks like the Incredible Hulk's Louis Leterrier has tapped on to direct the film. It looks like the search has ended as Universal taps the Incredible Hulk director to helm the action sequel. Development on the film was announced in 2017 when Justin Lin, who helped Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift through 6, entered talks to direct the 9th and 10th in the franchise, with the later news confirming that the film would be split into 2 parts and conclude the mainline series. Diesel is returning, and then we have the rest of the cast. Fast 10 will also mark the debut of Momoa as the villain, with the Suicide Breakout star Daniela Melchior and Brie Larson in undisclosed roles. Let's see, what does it say? Just over a week ago, Justin Lin stepped down. Doesn't really say too much about it. Where is it? Outside, Leterrier has signed on to it. So they've been looking. They've been searching. There's a lot to break down here. So we got ourselves a new director, everybody. Okay. So first things first. When this report came out, we did a little shortcut on this channel about it. And I said, look, I don't want to speculate, but it seems to me that this screams Vin Diesel. And from all reports, it seems like it screams Vin Diesel. And somebody said it brilliantly in the comments that he's like a franchise athlete at the moment. He's the one making the calls for the most part. However, this doesn't seem like just about making a call. This just seems like someone doesn't want to work with you anymore because you seem to be a big pain in the ass. And Justin Lin, I mean, as the producer said, stepping away from a rumored, let's say, $5 million to $15 million, just to downplay what that producer said just a little bit. It's a lot of money to walk away from, especially when you started shooting. That means that you think that this guy is such a pain in the ass to work with that it's going to hurt your career, possibly, to do a movie like this because he's not coming in on shape. He's not listening. He's difficult to work with. And you don't want to put yourself through that for the next couple of months. And you're stepping away from that kind of money in order to do it because you feel like you could get something else, less money, but at least you walk away with the stress off your back. You got to respect it. But you also got to say, holy shit, this is an issue. So what the hell is Louis Leterrier walking into right now? A week into this thing, he's got to figure out how to do it because it was costing like $1 million a day. They had to find somebody. They had a relationship with him. I liked the Hulk. They don't mention the other one that he did that wasn't good. What was the other movie he did recently? Oh, I can't remember what it was, but it wasn't good. Right? Am I wrong? I don't remember. Anyway, so they get this guy to do it, and he's now walking into a shit show one way or another. And Justin Lin walks away. Just, I'm done. But it's a thing. Someone's got to. It's just that Vin Diesel's got to be careful because, yes, Fast and Furious makes a lot of money. You're in your 10th movie, and the audience is already starting to say, because I still haven't seen the 9th. And from what people are saying in the comments and what I've heard from people saying that the 9th one is just so... It's not even fun anymore. It's just over the top. Some people liked it, but for the most part, it's just over the top and really stupid. So there's only so much more that this franchise has. And that's a massive compliment. You're 10 movies in. A lot of movies don't get to 10 movies. So, and he was in what, 9 of them, Vin Diesel. I mean, come on. Count your blessings, but don't. And we say and when I was talking to Roxy about it last week, he's a big movie star. And there was some comments going, no, he's not a big star. He's a massive star. His movies have made billions of dollars. He's a massive star. Now, that does not mean that because he is a massive star, that he can sell tickets to anything besides Fast and the Furious and a few other things, maybe. That's not how it works anymore. There are very few actors, if anybody, that can even do that anymore. It's about IP driven. It's about directors. That's what it is right now. So Vin Diesel has to be careful because if Vin Diesel gets this reputation, nobody's going to work with Vin Diesel. Nobody's going to want to do this stuff. And that's what they always say, but people always get work. Vin Diesel's got to be what, 45 years old, 46 years old? Hey, Siri, how old is Vin Diesel?
Vin Diesel is 54 years old.
54 years old. He's 54. He looks good for 54. I got to give him that. 54 years old. Holy shit, and he's acting like this? Wow, 54. That makes sense. He doesn't look 54. I got to give the man credit. Does not look 54. Neither is Tom Cruise. Talk about that in a second. Holy shit. But anyway, this is what can you say except they're going to make this movie. Universal has to make this movie. Universal, I think, a lot of times when the studios mess up, we all say, hey, idiots, you messed up. But nobody ever gives the studios credit when they do something good. They handled this as fast as they could, I think. As fast as they could. Justin Lin's like, I cannot work with this guy anymore. I'm done. Are you done? We just started shooting. I'm done. But we just started. We'll give you this. I am done. And Universal goes, well, what the hell are we going to do now? We got every day we're losing almost $1 million. Find somebody. But we don't find somebody. Anybody. Find somebody. And they found somebody. And they found him, it took a week. And it ain't easy to lock down a director because then he's going to find out. If I'm the director, I'm going, why did Lin leave? Well, because Vin Diesel's an asshole face. That's it. That's what we got for you. You want to work for an asshole face? We'll give you a lot of money. Sure, I'll work for him. How much? And that's what happened. That's at least the way I presented it in my head. I'm going to work for the asshole face for millions of dollars. Shoot the 10th one. And if I do it well, I'm a hero. If I don't, I just blame it on asshole face also. And that's what happens. So Louis Leterrier walks away unscathed. Because he walks in now a week after shooting, after you hear all this drama, unscathed. Yeah. I make up things in my head, at least the way that I believe it. So that's what we had. Vin Diesel, 85 years old, still doing fast. Good for him. All right, well, that's that story. Speaking of old movie stars, man, not just us. Mark and I saw Top Gun Maverick. I can't review it yet. I'm not allowed to review it. I can just give you my overall reaction that I did. There's a reaction on the channel if you haven't seen it. The two of us went in. I can tell you that when we went in, it was Saturday afternoon. Mark had an earlier screening for it. I was supposed to see it next week. Mark had an earlier screening, invited me as his guest, and I went. And we were just like two kids in a candy shop, man, just ready for this movie. It just felt like going to see a movie back in the day, like you used to, like old school, like just the hype behind it. And I will say that I was already hyped to see Top Gun Maverick before any of these reports came out from CinemaCon, and I was already hyped. But seeing the universal love it was getting from people, I saw a bunch of people that I don't really never line up to on their sense. I'm usually on the opposite page of everything that they say. So I was like not listening to them. But then I saw people that I listen to a lot and people that I have lined up to many times over and said, okay, this, and then I started seeing people I don't even know saying how great it was. And nobody was saying it was bad. No one. Except, people who are just, everyone's saying it's good? Oh, I need people to look at my site. I'll say it's bad now. So going into it, hyped. I was hyped already, but hyped even more. And watching this movie, I was 8 years old again, watching this movie with a friend who was also 8 years old. The sound and the music and I've mentioned this many times over, and I will anytime nostalgia is involved. Mark Bernardin said it brilliantly when I interviewed him on this show. Nostalgia, when done correctly, when sprinkled in to a good movie, chef's kiss. He was talking about Top Gun Maverick, even though he hasn't seen it, is what I'm saying. They don't make movies like this anymore. And it's not like, it doesn't feel like an 80s movie. That's not what I mean. It's just even watching how they shot it with the scenes and the planes, and watching that behind the scene documentary, or the training aspect, obviously, with actual shooting it inside of planes. It's just so good. I'm telling everybody. Yesterday I was at Trader Joe's and I had a Pacific Rim shirt on. And the guy asked me if I worked on the movie. I said, no, I just got the shirt. It's a gift. And the one guy's, I didn't even know it was Pacific Rim 2. I was like, don't worry about it. I said, but there is a number 2 for it, Top Gun, and you need to see it. He's like, really? I didn't love the first one. I said, does not matter. Doesn't matter if you like the first one, if you thought the first, because there's some people who, and this guy actually, Trader Joe's, was like, I just saw the first one for the first time like 2 years ago and it didn't really hit. I go, it doesn't matter. It doesn't rely on you to love the first one. It's just a good movie. I'm so excited for all of you guys to see it because I want to talk about it. I'm definitely doing a spoiler for it. I'm going to spoiler the hell out of it when I can. I'm going to go see it again. I haven't wanted to see a movie again in the theater like right away in a long time. Like so much so that I'm like, because I do these screenings, that is part of the part of my business. And I go see screenings and I got 2 kids. So married people know this. When you have a kid, when you have 2 kids, 3 kids, very hard to get out and see movies. But when it's your business, you got an excuse. So it's hard for me. I never see movies on the weekend anymore. That's when most people see movies outside of this business. But if I see it during the week and I see it at a screening, then I'll see it. Everybody's talking to me about the Everything Everywhere, that movie that everyone loves, about the parallel universe and the thing that is tailor-made for me. And I didn't get a chance to see the screening. Usually when I miss the screening, I don't see the movie until it hits the thing. Anyway, my point is, I love this movie so much that I think I'm going to manipulate the truth and tell my wife I have a screening next week when the second Top Gun screening is out. And I'm just going to say I have a screening. And then when she says what it is, I'm going to say some action movie. It's not necessarily a lie, right? Also shows you my wife doesn't watch my show. So I can get away with it. We'll see. Probably lying to myself. None of this is going to happen. I am seeing Doctor Strange tonight, though. That I'm very happy about. See Doctor Strange. What do we expect to see with Doctor Strange? I'll be honest. I am a little nervous about it. Why? Why are you nervous? Well, thank you for asking. I had said this originally, like after watching this first movie, and we're doing the rewatch series. If you haven't watched the rewatch series that we've been doing on the channel, we just did Doctor Strange. And watching that movie again, it's really good. And I think Scott Derrickson did a great job, really great job. There's only like 1 or 2 scenes that I could have done without, but for the most part, it really plays again because of the way that they've set up the multiverse and all this. And when they announced Sam Raimi coming in, I said, I don't know if Raimi's style is going to play into the MCU. And then I started listening more and started hearing more, and I'm like, okay, maybe I'm on board. And I started seeing the trailers, really like the trailers. And then they released this scene that I've been trying to avoid all the TV spots and all the scenes. That's why I haven't been doing reactions to them and all that stuff. So I saw this scene that's octopus something. He sees an octopus. And it does like a magic spell to see the octopus coming in. And it's, I don't know, it seemed cheesy to me. It seemed corny. And it seemed very Raimi-esque. I don't know. Made me nervous. So, what do you think? How about you guys? Are you you nervous? I don't know. Could be great though. I am very excited to see it still. It's stupid. It's just the octopus scene. Like I just mentioned, there was one scene in the Derrickson one I didn't like. Maybe this is that scene. Could very well. I mean, it just depends on how they all play it because I like very much what they are doing with time and space and the What If series and the WandaVision and Loki and Eternals and the way they're playing kind of the mystics and all that. I love all that shit. So I'm on board with the story. I'm worried about how it's going to be shot. I've always thought Sam Raimi is a fun director, but a lot of his movies I think can come off as cheesy. It's a lot of cheesy stuff sometimes. Whether you go back and it's stuff that doesn't hold up. Still movies that are still fun to watch, as I said, with Spider-Man 1 and 2. Loved watching those movies again. But there's a lot of cheesy shit in them, and you can't deny it. There's a lot of, even when I mentioned the scene, Bonnie Somerville, friend of the show, is in the scene where there's a scene where she, in the second movie, when Doc Ock is climbing up, and there's just a shot of Bonnie. She's just sitting there. She runs up, and she does this, like, B-movie scream into the camera, and it's cheesy. She's great in it. It's a great scream. But the shot and the moment, it's cheesy. And Darkman, love that movie. Ridiculous. ridiculously like how a lot of it plays. It's hilarious. And where's the one that I like? Where's my shot?
Take the fucking elephant.
Yeah, I will. I'll take the elephant. So it makes me nervous. How is he going to play into it? I could come back. I'm going to do a out of the theater reaction tonight, by the way, and then the review embargo drops tomorrow. But I will be doing an out of the theater reaction for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and I'm hoping that I am saying, man, Raimi came to play ball in the MCU. That's my hope. But we'll see. I don't know. What do you guys think? I want to hear your comments. Make sure, by the way, subscribe, will you? If you haven't done it already, subscribe. Subscribe to the channel. Do it. And if you haven't already, please do that. We're approaching 41,000 on this channel. I'm excited for that, and I hope that you guys will subscribe. All right, cool. Let's move on. What the hell am I doing over here? I don't know anymore. I know those guys. All right, so another one here. As speaking of Sam Raimi was asked about Spider-Man 4, and he talks about when they were going to do it, because he was talking about how he was going to do, how they asked him if he'd be up for doing Spider-Man 4 now that the multiverse is a thing, and he said he'd be up for it. So this is the article by Dark Horizons. Over a decade ago, Sam Raimi was set to helm a fourth Tobey Maguire-led Spider-Man film for Sony, and at the time, Black Cat, Vulture, and Lizard were tipped as the villains in the mix. Too many already. However, the lingering feelings he had compromised with the third film, Raimi not being happy with the script for the fourth one, along with an urgent deadline, led him to pulling the plug on the project back in 2010. See, I think that was a smart move by him. That happened, even as screenwriter James Vanderbilt was tapped to pen a potential fifth and sixth film. Raimi advised Sony they should make their alternate reboot script, which led to the Andrew Garfield-led Amazing Spider-Man. Now, back at Marvel with the upcoming Doctor Strange sequel, Raimi has been out doing press and spoke with Rolling Stone about what he plans, saying, "I missed the really great cameo we had designed for Bruce Campbell." He says the work on the scrapped fourth film was a very painful experience for him. "I wanted to make a Spider-Man movie to redeem myself for I wanted to make a Spider-Man movie to redeem myself for that, the aborted Spider-Man 4. That was really what that was about. I wanted to go out on a high note. I didn't want to just make another one that pretty much worked. I had a really high standard in my mind, and I didn't think I could get that script to the level that I was hoping for by that start date." Asked about the rumor that Bruce Campbell would play Mysterio, Raimi ended up revealing another classic Spider-Man villain was going to appear in one of the future films. That Mysterio was one of the possibilities. We had other things in mind, but that was one of them. And I missed Kraven the Hunter. We were going to work that character into next Spider-Man. I always wanted to see Kraven fight Spider-Man on the big screen. I thought that would be really unique. He's the ultimate hunter, and Spider-Man is like the most agile trickster of the skies. And I wanted to see Peter continue forward as a human being. Maguire reprised his role from Spider-Man No Way Home, and there have been calls for Raimi and Maguire to re-team for a proper fourth Spider-Man. Raimi spoke to Movie Pilot recently and said, "I didn't think it was possible, but jumping back with the multiverse, I realized that anything is possible, so now I'm open to it." With the live-action big-screen future of Spider-Man is an open question right now. The character isn't going anywhere with two animated Spider-Verse films on the way, along with the anticipated Marvel Spider-Man 2 PS5 game due next year. All right, so a lot here. I think it's, for me, less about the Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi are good friends. He wants to put him in everything, and I love Bruce Campbell. How do you? I'm never going to argue against anything. Bruce Campbell's going to show up in Multiverse. If he doesn't show up in Multiverse, I'll eat my sock on the air, in one way or another. Even if he does like a Stan Lee. Even if it's a Stan Lee, Bruce Campbell will be in it one way or another. If it's in a deleted scene, he'll be in it one way or another. So the stuff that how he wanted to put Bruce Campbell in it, it's like, okay, of course, that's not a big reveal. Of course he wanted to put him in it one way or another. The fact that it was Kraven, and Sam Raimi is a Spider-Man fan. That's the one thing that you're never going to take that away from Sam Raimi, that the guy knows Spider-Man. There was a lot of stuff that he took from the Spider-Man comics and the things growing up as a kid, and there wasn't this thing that you had, like you could play outside the realm of being so true to the comics back in those days, because the MCU changed that, and they want to make sure that they changed things from the comic, obviously. Look at Moon Knight; it changed dramatically, but they try to stay to the essence. And I think that Sam Raimi did a lot of that. And the fact that he wanted to use Kraven and bring in Mysterio and bring these villains in there. And it was just a different time for how things were working back then. And I have a lot of respect for him in the fact that he was like, I'm not ready for this. This script is not ready, and I don't want to do this right now. So, and very similar, we were talking about with Justin Lin in a different circumstance, different circumstances. But he said, I'm out, and he took off, and now it was painful for him, and I don't think he loved that third one. Same thing, third one was pretty much rushed, and now he's got a chance. I think my opinion is, and I think that the title of, if I clip this out, which I probably will, of this video would be, should there be a Spider-Man 4 with Sam Raimi? And I think it's going to depend on what happens after we see that's why there's no announcements of a Spider-Man 4 right now. They want to see what happens with the multiverse. They want to see how people respond to it. If I'm Sony, I'm signing it up tomorrow and making it happen, because after Morbius and Venom and Venom 2, yeah, those movies did fun, but they have no grasp on how to hold. They're trying to make the Sinister Six, and the stupid post-credit scenes of Morbius were ridiculous. They have no idea what they're doing over there. They have, as far as storytelling, they have no idea. It is a mess. So if I'm Sony, yes, sign Andrew Garfield to some movies, sign Tobey Maguire to some Spider-Man movies. And when the audience says, well, what the hell, you got two different Spider-Mans? Yeah, didn't you see the multiverse things that they're doing over there? We're just carrying it over here. You're trying to do what they're doing anyway, but just do it. At least you can do it by building off a past franchise you already had. Because even for people saying right now in the comment section, I don't need to see another Andrew Garfield movie or Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie. Bullshit. You'd see it if you saw the trailer. That if Tobey Maguire and Sam Raimi teamed up to do a Spider-Man 4, now that they've set up how Tobey Maguire was when he goes back to from the multiverse, and he goes back, and that there was such a we know that him and Mary Jane are together. You can get Kirsten Dunst back, and she's going to have they have a great relationship. I wouldn't focus heavily on them again. We've done that many times, but the fact that she's there, they're married, they do all of it. Great. Give me another Sam Raimi and Tobey Maguire, but it's going to all depend on whether or not this movie does well. And I think we all think it's going to do very well. Not only though, because that's an easy bet that it's going to do well. Of course it's going to do well. We know it's going to do well. It's on par to become one of the biggest movies of the summer, if not the biggest movie of the summer. However, it's dependent on the audience score, man, because reviews with critics not as important. It's about what the audience is going to think about this movie, and not the people that want it to fail, and not the audience that just is like, oh, here's another Marvel movie that's going to suck. The hardcore fans, the people who like watching these movies, enjoy watching it, don't like this movie. And it turns out that it is ultra cheesy, and it doesn't work, and it feels weird, and it feels rushed. That could hurt a chance for Spider-Man 4. I don't know. But again, money talks, bullshit walks. What do you guys think? You want to see a Spider-Man 4 with Tobey Maguire and Sam Raimi? Sign you up, whether it does well or not. I want to hear your thoughts. Do me a favor, subscribe to this channel. Hit the notification button. Do all that. Great. All right, let's move on. Next story. I told you, a lot of great stories today. And this one's not a great story. It's a story that I don't want to hear. One of my favorite actors of all time, Gary Oldman, is teasing retirement. Say it ain't so. How old is Gary? Is he old as younger than Vin Diesel? Hey Siri, how old is Gary Oldman?
Gary Oldman is 64 years old.
Not too much older. Not too much older. 10 years older or something. But Gary Oldman, 64, that's too young to retire. You're too old. You're too young to retire. What are you doing, Gary? I hate that. All right, let's listen to the man first before we start yelling at him. I'm sorry. Oscar winner Gary Oldman has discussed the idea of possibly retiring, suggesting his current leading man role in the Apple TV espionage series, Slow Horses, might be his swan song. No. Oldman stars in the series as Jackson Lamb, the slovenly and often drunk head of Slough House, who knows, an administrative purgatory for British intelligence rejects. The show wrapped its 6-episode first season on Apple TV yesterday, adapting the first of Harron's book series, which consists of 8 novels and 3 novellas to date. Apple's really crushing it right now, huh? Apple has already shot a 6-episode adaptation of the second book, Dead Lions, which he said is being considered the second half of the show's first season as opposed to the second season. This means the series could go at least four full seasons of 12 episodes each. Okay. Talking with Deadline and mulling the question of retirement, the 64-year-old actor says something else might come around to change his mind, but is enjoying where he is and sounds happy to stick with the series if the demand is there. All right, it's kind of like a soft retirement. I could see myself playing Jackson for the next how many years? Yeah, I mean, for that love of the books and that were Mick Harron devotees, as it were, he's already an iconic character. So if it were to go out with a bang, I mean, retirement is on the horizon, yeah, I can see it. Okay. Come on. I don't know about this article. To be able to sort of wrap it up playing Jackson Lamb, I would consider myself very honored and be very lucky to do that. I would never say never. There's always something that may come in, and there will be. I'm going to stop reading this because there will be. It's Gary Oldman. He's not going anywhere. He'll be around. Like you said, if something else comes up, something else will come up. The guy probably gets offered stuff all the time, and it's like, hey, you know who'd be great in that? Gary Oldman. That's probably said every other hour. Hey, we got a movie. You know who'd be great in that? Gary Oldman. Send it to him. Really? You want to do the Sonic 3? Send it to him. Anything. Powerpuff Girls? Send it to him. It's Gary Oldman. So, Gary Oldman's not retiring. And if he is, it's going to be after this series. But I'll tell you what this article did. It made me want to watch that series. Everyone. God, I love Gary Oldman. And it's funny. All the iconic roles that he's had, whether it's True Romance or The Professional, The Fifth Element, Sid and Nancy, on and on and on and on. Sirius Black. It goes on forever. He's the best. I'll tell you, though. And I know that I know it's cliche because he won the Oscar for it, but he's so good on as Winston Churchill. Finest Hour, is that what it is? No, that wasn't the name of it. Was it Darkest Hour? I can't remember. Whatever it was. He played Winston Churchill. And he was so good in that role. Incredible. Really incredible. You know what else is incredible? Athletic Greens. Yeah, I've been using it a lot. Yesterday, I was heading out, and I realized I had forgotten to take it yesterday, and I was on my way to do grocery shopping. Threw it in a water bottle, took it. Man, what a boost! I started taking Athletic Greens because I didn't have enough time for vitamins. I thought anyway. I wanted better gut health. I wanted more energy and optimized immune system. And I don't like taking pills and vitamins. And my father-in-law is always telling me, take your vitamins. I wanted a supplement, though, and I want one that tastes great. My daughter comes over. She lets us smell the bottle when I take it because it smells so good. And I wanted to see what the hype was, and I understand. Brett was telling me about it for a bit, and I love it. If you don't know what it is, you take one delicious scoop of Athletic Greens, and you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics. It's amazing. It helps you start the day right. So I like it because it gives me that boost of energy. It is kind of like a fruity taste. You mix it with water. I put it in a water bottle. I shake it up. It contains less than 1 gram of sugar. There's no GMOs, no nasty chemicals, and it tastes great. And it supports better sleep quality and recovery. And it costs you less than $3 a day. You invest in your health, and it's cheaper than your cold brew habit. You're investing in an all-in-one nutritional insurance, and it helps out the big thing tremendously. Athletic Greens has over 7,000 5-star reviews, and it's recommended by professional athletes. Right now, it is time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That's all I do. I just put it in a bottle of water and I shake it up. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. You got to make it easy. Go to athleticgreens.com/bigthing. It's going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packets with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/bigthing. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/bigthing. Take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. There's more stuff. There's more stuff going on. I'll tell you that. The other one is this John Watts. John Watts is leaving left Fantastic Four. At least director's leaving. Why is he leaving? Do we know why he's leaving? Well, I'm going to find out in a second, I guess. Oh, man. He took off. John Watts. Spider-Man No Way Home. He left. And that's kind of shocking to me. He was expected to make Fantastic Four his next film, but he needs a break from the superhero realm after serving as director of 3 Tom Holland-led Spider-Man films. I got to respect that. The man has earned it. Yes, they agree. Spider-Man No Way Home grossed $1.8 billion. It became the 6th highest grossing film of all time and helped proving cinemas being still viable. Kevin Feige said, "We understand and we're supported of his reasons for stepping away. We're optimistic that we'll have the opportunity to work together again at some point down the road." Watts remains linked to an Apple Studio film that plans to have George Clooney and Brad Pitt starring as rival fixers who find themselves simultaneously hired for the same job. All right, I get this. I get this. Very much so. If this is indeed, it seems like this is indeed the reason why he's stepping back. He's tired. He's been spending all his time in Spider-Man world. He doesn't want to be the superhero guy. He's doing a thing with George Clooney and Pitt, and he wants to do some other stuff. You can walk around his agents and go, "Yeah, he just made $1.8 billion for the studio. What do you got for him?" Who's not going to hire the guy right now? It's like the actors that want to do the big movies, and then it's like one for you, one for me. And that's what Watts wants to do right now. I got to respect it. I mean, I'm bummed, though. I thought he probably could have really started out the Fantastic Four series well and blended it in because he knows the world very well. So that's the question then, as I posed in the, I guess, video title of this clip out, is who's going to direct? Who do you want to see direct? I'll tell you who I want to see direct is my boy from Top Gun 2 here now. It's so funny. I'm so high on this guy. Joe, Kosinski? Joseph Kosinski? I'd be up for that. I don't know if he knows if he wants to be, but I will say it's the same thing. I think a great director is a great director, and I don't always think that a director needs to be a massive fan of the property before they sign on. But I do believe that a director needs to be a fan of the property after they start to learn about it, and then they do their research on it. And I don't know what's true and what's not true about the Halo people. So some reports say they didn't play any of the games, they didn't care to do research on the games, and they just did the thing. And then others say that they did, and it was misrepresented. Whatever. I think that whenever you take over something, you've got to learn that property inside and out. And I think that was when I was, again, using Mark Bernardin, who just did, what's the Matt Mercer one? Oh, shoot. You guys are screaming it at me right now, but the show that's Dominic Monaghan's in it, and it's Matt Mercer and everybody in there, it's the show that everybody loves on Amazon Prime, right? Anyway, Bernardin was not a fan. Not that he wasn't a fan. He didn't know about it, and then he got the job and he learned about it and he did his research and he played into it. Now and that's how you do this, and that's what I want to see someone do on a project like this, or maybe just hire somebody who's a massive Fantastic Four fan that knows it. But I think that what the other side is that, as you just said, Kosinski, you talk about Krasinski. Now, maybe, as everyone was rumoring, there's a big rumor that he's going to be Reed Richards and a variant of him. There's a rumor that he's going to be a variant in the new Doctor Strange that came out. Now, I don't think he's going to play Reed Richards overall in this new universe. I don't think it's going to happen. However, it would be great if they got him to direct it, which is interesting. There's a lot of people out there that, I want to see direct a superhero movie that I don't know if she's done it yet, is Greta Gerwig. I know she hasn't done it yet. If she has any interest in it, Greta Gerwig. Greta Gerwig is a great director. I liked Little Women. I liked Lady Bird. What's her interest? The answer might be none at all. Don't know Greta Gerwig. Know that she's very nice. Told her, met her once and told her that I loved Lady Bird. And She stopped our conversation. We had a little conversation about it. Sweetheart. Does that mean that she likes Fantastic Four? I have no fucking idea. But be up for it. So there's a lot of people out there that I'd like to see directed. How about you guys? Who should direct Fantastic Four? Who you got? Matthew Vaughn? All right. Go ahead and subscribe. Let me know. I want to know who you guys think should direct Fantastic Four. Sounds great. All right. Next one. I think that's... Oh, yeah, and this is the other one I got to talk about. The Hunger Games prequel. Because this one... I don't know. I'm nervous about it, but yet I still want to see it. If I can be frank. So they're doing a... where the hell is it? Where's the Hunger Games? Oh, yeah, I guess there's a 70s show thing, too. Or 90s show. Whatever the 90s show was. All right. All right, Hunger Games prequel sets a 2023 release. It's right around the corner. It's in about a year and a half because it comes out November 17th, 2023. Lionsgate, okay, so it was at CinemaCon. They're going to call it it's a prequel, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Francis Lawrence is going to direct it again. He helmed 3 of the prior sequels in the franchise. Is directing the prequel set year prior to the original movies. It is currently in production, but no cast has been announced, and only a concept teaser was shown. Film shows how the 18-year-old Coriolanus Snow will eventually become the tyrannical president of Panem. Here he is chosen to be a mentor to Lucy Greybeard, the girl tribute from the impoverished District 12 during the 12th annual Hunger Games. Katniss competed in the 74th, for reference. The film opens in the same pre-Thanksgiving weekend slot in which Lawrence Games sequels opened. The prior 4 films collected generated $3 billion at the global box office. Suzanne Collins, who is the author, co-wrote the script with Michael Arndt and Michael Leslie. Lawrence, Nina Jacobson, and Brad Simpson will produce. All right, so here's what makes me nervous about it. What I think about right away is Fantastic Beasts. And I know there's a lot of differences. But what makes me nervous about not when the author's writing the script, it's a good thing because the author knows the characters well enough and the author knows how to play it. But the author J.K. Rowling wrote the script for Fantastic Beasts. Problem is, there's so much detail inside of these books that when you condense a book with so much detail, you can still get, sometimes obviously books, it's tricky, right? Because sometimes you pull stuff out and you lose some stuff, but I think the Harry Potter movies were done very well. There's so much to pull from, and then you place it throughout. With the problem with the scripts is that that's what it is. There is no book to pull from. You're just flopping it on the 120-page script or 140-page script, whatever the hell it is, and it is what it is. So that makes me nervous. However, I still think that Fantastic Beasts would have served better if the whole damn thing would have been a prequel about Dumbledore. Because I think the last one proved it, because I think that when you look at when we talk about Star Wars, right? Star Wars, they led when Obi-Wan has got this series come out, it's going to do well because it's a character you relate to, but it's the time period and it's all that. So it's going to do very well. But a lot of people think that Star Wars doesn't necessarily need to rely on all those characters now, and I think that very well could be true. That's why, but they have enough inside of the IP and then inside the franchise to then have earned that to say, give me another time period. Let me try something else. And they've been around for a while. Same thing with Marvel. Marvel starts doing, when they start doing Guardians of the Galaxy and these other things, and DC's doing the Suicide Squad and these things are properties that people didn't know because they've earned it. They've been around for a while. Harry Potter had just had Harry Potter and Hermione and Ron, they weren't coming back. And then you bring in this dude that no one really knows. And they finally introduce young Dumbledore, and he's kind of in. I think he's in the first one. I don't even remember the second one, and it just relying on the magic and the wizards, it did not work. So there's not much you can do with Hunger Games when you push back. You're seeing Snow and how Snow rose to power and became who he is and what he did, but. The difference is this is going to be all about the Hunger Games in general. At least it has to be, and how the survival of the Hunger Games is going to be because the winners of the Hunger Games, and they're going to rely on that. I know, you know what I'm going to say. I think the Hunger Games would have been an interesting TV show for this at this point. you could have set up different seasons all the way through. But I don't know. I'm not as opposed to this as a movie. You get one or two of them, or whatever it might be, and the lead up. And I mean, I definitely want to see it. I'm interested. I read the book back in the day, and I was a massive fan. I felt the same way about the movies as I did. Although I think the second, the first book's my favorite. The second movie is a better movie. And there were things that I always wanted. It's the same. So I've mentioned to you guys beforehand. What a lot of people don't realize, it's still when they go back and listen. If you've been listening to me long enough, you've heard me talk about David Morrell's First Blood, 1972. The book came out, and that was where Stallone got the book from, and all that, and then eventually turned Rambo into this iconic character. But the 1972 book was a very cerebral book inside the thought of this PTSD war vet. And at the time in 72, the war was still going on. It didn't end until 75, but there was all this stuff going on. And it was brutal, and it was devastating. It's a great book. It's a fantastic book. And I thought that the Hunger Games had that in the book. You're inside of the thoughts. It reminded me very much of the David Morrell novel, of you're inside of the thoughts of Katniss the whole entire time. And I was hoping of more of the inside of the thoughts strategy of Katniss throughout, but I guess it's just harder to do. I digress. Speaking of Stallone, by the way, I got some more Stallone news, and this one I'm pumped about. Where the hell is it? I got to find this. Where's Stallone? There he is. Look at him. Look how slick he looks. Let's ask Siri. I'm going to say 77. What do you guys say? Hey, Siri, how old is Sylvester Stallone? Come on, Siri.
Sylvester Stallone is 75 years old.
All right, 75. Look at him at 75. He looks slick. All right, he's got some news, Stallone. That's the first photo. He's in a show called Tulsa King. I love this. You're out of your mind if you don't think I'm watching this the day it comes out. Everything about this is fantastic. Paramount Plus, which is starting to really sink its teeth into television, doing a great job, has released a first-look photo of Sylvester Stallone in the title role of the Yellowstone creator Taylor Sheridan's new mob drama TV series, Tulsa King. Everything about that sentence is fantastic. Sylvester Stallone, title role, Yellowstone creator, Taylor Sheridan, mob drama TV series. Thank you. Marking his first regular TV series role, Stallone stars as New York Mafia capo Dwight the General Manfredi. Oh, yes. Who took the fall for his bosses and serves a 25-year prison sentence. Upon release and realizing his mob family doesn't have his best interests at heart, he sets up shop in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which becomes a place to build his own criminal empire. The project is one of several Sheridan has done for the Paramount Plus service, along with 1883 and The Mayor of Kingstown, having already aired, while Lioness, Landman, and Bass Reeves are also on the way. Taylor Sheridan is becoming a kingpin of television. Tulsa King is slated to air sometime this fall. Oh, I mean, come on. Give me another Christmas present, why don't you? I'm thinking Ozark, by the way. That's what it sounds like. You know, the difference, the family has to set up shop in the Ozarks because they can't do this in Chicago, and they gotta move around. And they basically just this whole town. And by the way, I'm about 30 minutes away from finishing Ozark, so I'll probably talk about it on this show, if not tomorrow or the next day. Loving that show, and sad to see it go. Happy they ended it when they did, because even a few of these episodes, I said, okay, you could see where they're kind of stretching a little bit, but I love it. But anyway, again, I digress. Stallone as a mob boss, and the idea that he took a fall for these bosses who aren't really helping him out, and I want to see a Stallone, because the best acting Stallone has ever done, outside of whether it's Creed or Rocky Balboa, was Copland, because he was vulnerable. He was not himself, but he was able to take elements of himself and put it into that role where he didn't have to just be, the macho action star that we love. He's still going to be the macho guy in this, but I want to see a Walter White like Stallone, because I think that Stallone, I'm hoping that after you saw what he did in Creed, in that scene where he just it's the scene when he does, and when Creed's got to convince him to get the treatment for the cancer. He's like, nah, I'm gonna go, and he breaks down, and it's like it is the best moment to point to when you go, well, there's a reason why this guy has been around for as long as he has, because he's a really good actor. And I do the same thing over and over again. I made the impression. But he's an icon, and he's phenomenal. He's phenomenal, and I cannot wait to watch this show. If I didn't have Apple TV, I do. But if I didn't, I'd sign up just for this show. So I'm pumped for it. How about you guys? You care? Think there's going to be a show you want to see? Or no? Not too much. Last but not least, I'm going to talk about this this series that they got going on. I didn't realize, I guess it's what's it called, the 90s show? Is that what it is? The 90s show? So the 90s show is a spinoff of the 70s show and the 80s show, I guess. And I guess that the cast of the 70s show is going to be on the 90s show, which makes sense in the nostalgia craze as of now. Most of the cast of the 70s show is going to reunite for the upcoming Netflix spin-off revival. Topher Grace, Laura Prepon, I probably said her name wrong, Ashton Kutcher, Mila Kunis, and Wilmer Valderrama are all set to guest star as their characters. So guest star, okay. Set in 95. And Leah Foreman, daughter of Eric, okay, and Donna, is visiting her grandparents for the summer. There she bonds with the new generation of Point Place kids under the watchful eye of Kitty and the stern glare of Red. Okay. The sole main cast member not returning is Danny Masterson. That makes sense. Who is preparing to stand trial on multiple sexual assault allegations. Well, there you go. That makes you would not hard to guess that one. The multi-camera comedy has received a 10-episode order and also stars Ashley, Offenhyde. There's no way I said that right. Mace Coronel, Max Donovan, Rain. People are fucking with me. Rain Doy and Sam Morelos. If I got any of those right, I'll give myself $1. No chance. Asshole. Talking about myself. Anyway. The 70s show to me, it's one of those shows that it's like not in quality. Hear me out before you start going nuts. As far as Seinfeld and a lot of these shows that there's a lot of X-Files and shows like that. What I mean by that is I didn't watch those shows religiously. 70s show, Seinfeld, X-Files. But I appreciated how good they all were. So if I was browsing television and I happen to stumble across an episode of the 70s show, always enjoyed it. Every time I watched an episode, always enjoyed it. I just never went out of my way to watch it. I had a friend that used to watch it all the time. He's like, I got to watch the 70s show. And then I remember being over his place and going, oh, yeah, I'll watch it with you. And I remember really enjoying it, laughing, thinking it was really good. Never went out of my way to watch it. Will I go out of my way to watch the 90s show? Probably not. But if I stumble across it or somebody else is watching it, I'll probably wind up enjoying it. Plus the fact I love Kurtwood Smith. Had the opportunity to interview him on one-on-one with Kristian Harloff back when that show was just starting, and what a sweetheart of a guy. So I'm glad he's still doing stuff, and the cast is coming back. So yeah, and I think it's a smart move for Netflix, and this goes back to how we opened the show with the nostalgia portion. Nostalgia, if you do it right. But man, I can't wait for you guys to see Top Gun. Can't wait. All right, it was a fun show today. I enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it. Lots to talk about. As I said, we're going to have some guests back. And don't forget, tonight on the channel, we're going to have the right out of the theater reaction, Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. Tomorrow, the review will be up for that show. So probably be no big thing tomorrow. There'll be the big thing, Sith Council on Wednesday. Thursday, I'll have a show. Friday, I'll have a show. And then some stuff sprinkled throughout the week. And as soon as I can get the embargo on the review of Top Gun, I will put that out there. And that's it. So I hope you guys are enjoying it. Please subscribe to the podcast feed. I'm begging you. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and get yourself some Athletic Greens. Try it. Use that code. Helps out tremendously. because we get a note from the podcast rep today. What'd you say? A lot of people try athletic greens today. Like that's what I'm trying. They're gonna love it. I want to stick with athletic greens for the rest of the year. Anyway, all right. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate you, and we'll catch you on the flip side.